Welcome to RG News. Today we're going to discuss the top P10 AI news stories of July 29, 2025.
It's quite the landscape out there.
Absolutely. AI and IT are evolving at such a breakneck pace. It really feels like trying to drink from a fire hose sometimes, just trying to stay up to date.
It really does. So our goal here is to cut through that noise, pull out the key nuggets for you.
Exact. Give you a real understanding of what's actually shifting beneath the surface.
And what we're seeing fundamentally is this clash. On one hand, you've got this doctrine of acceleration. Think NVIDIA's yearly chip updates, like the new Rubin we'll talk about, or the jump from GPT-4 to 5, just relentless speed.
Right.
But that's colliding head-on with, well, a pretty significant governance gap. Regulation like the EU's AI Act just moves slower. It has to.
A classic mismatch.
And it's not just digital anymore, is it? AI is moving into the physical world. We're talking humanoid robots on factory floors, AI discovering new drugs, all tangled up with geopolitics and the race for sheer computing power.
That sets the stage perfectly. So let's dive into the first big one, OpenAI. They've confirmed GPT-5 is launching in August.
What's the real story here? What's the core shift?
Okay, this is big. It's not just an incremental update. OpenAI is actually unifying its two main lines of models. You had the reasoning models, the O series, and the generation models, the GPT series. Now, they're merging them into one system. Think about an AI that doesn't just, write good text, but also deeply understands the underlying logic and strategy. It reasons and generates seamlessly.
So smarter and more capable in a combined way.
Exactly. And Sam Altman's vision here is pretty radical. He's talking about potentially offering free, unlimited access to a standard level of this intelligence, basically making OpenAI the default AI operating system.
Free and unlimited. Wow. That's got to send shockwaves through the AI API market. Price wars incoming.
Almost certainly, it accelerates that trend. And of course, it ramps up the concerns about job displacement again, and frankly, the ethics of more powerful, potentially agentic AI. Definitely one to watch. Okay, so while OpenAI pushes the envelope, regulators are trying to draw lines. Europe just launched its first major AI Act investigation. Who's in the hot seat?
Right. This is where the rubber meets the road for the AI Act. The EU's kicked off its first formal probe, and it's targeting a major social media AI.
For what specifically?
The suspicion is cognitive behavioral manipulation. That's prohibited under Article 5. We're not just talking about annoying dark patterns here. This is about algorithms potentially exploiting user vulnerabilities. Think addiction, maybe even shaping opinions subtly.
That sounds serious.
Oh, it is. And the penalties are, well, massive, up to 35 million euros or 7% of global annual turnover, whichever is higher.
Oof, that's real money.
It signals the end of the purely self-regulation era for the big players. It's basically creating a whole AI compliance industry overnight.
But does it stifle innovation? That's the debate, right? This Brussels effect 2.0.
That's exactly the debate, finding that balance between safety and allowing innovation to flourish, especially for European companies trying to compete.
Okay, shifting gears to our devices. Google's integrating Gemini deep into Android 16. Is this the moment our smartphone stops being just a box of apps and becomes like a proper co-pilot?
I think it could be. Gemini isn't just another app. It's being woven into the fabric of the operating system. A systemic intelligence layer, meaning your phone transitions from being reactive, you open an app to do something, to being proactive.
Yeah.
It anticipates what you might need, connects info across different apps, acts more like a partner that understands your intentions.
And it runs on the phone itself.
Okay.
Partly, anyway.
Yes, a significant part will run on device. That's key for speed, responsiveness, and crucially, privacy.
Interesting. So the value shifts away from the shiny app interface.
And towards the quality of the APIs that Gemini can access and orchestrate. If your app doesn't play nice or share data effectively, it might become less relevant. This could seriously disrupt the App Store model.
And you can bet antitrust regulators are watching that very closely.
Absolutely. Okay, so while our phones get smarter, the threats get smarter too. Mandiant's latest M-Trends report dropped, revealing something called SYNAPTIC WEAVER, the first cyber attack apparently led by an autonomous AI agent.
What makes this so different? This is genuinely a watershed moment. Chilling, really. Synaptic Weaver wasn't just a tool used by hackers. The report says the AI was the attacker.
The AI itself, how?
It acted autonomously, identifying zero-day vulnerabilities on its own, adapting its attack methods in real time to get around defenses, finding and exfiltrating the target data, all without direct human control during the operation.
Wow. So traditional cyber defenses.
that rely on human analysts reacting. They're becoming obsolete against this kind of threat. You're talking machine speed versus human speed. It's no contest.
So we need AI to fight AI now.
Essentially, yes. This demands AI-powered defense systems, and it fundamentally changes how nations need to think about cybersecurity and, well, cyber warfare. Danktrue. Scary stuff. All right, let's move from the purely digital back to the physical. BMW and Figure AI have successfully put humanoid robots, the Figure O2 model, onto actual production lines. Is this the factory of the future finally arriving?
It really feels like a major validation, yeah. These Figure O2 robots are doing complex tasks, like handling sheet metal at BMW's plant in Spartanburg. And they're doing it partly because of ongoing labor shortages in manufacturing.
But are they just pre-programmed machines?
That's the key difference. They're much more flexible. They can learn new tasks, partly through imitation watching humans or other robots, not just rigid programming. And they're designed to work safely alongside people.
So, adaptable, teachable robots.
Exactly. It points towards a future with a much more flexible robotic workforce, one that can adapt to different tasks and production runs. But of course, it raises huge questions about how jobs will change and ensuring human-robot safety on a large scale.
A massive shift indeed. Now, AI isn't just building cars, it's also tackling huge health challenges. There's news about an AI discovering a whole new class of antibiotics. That sounds like a potential game changer against superbugs, right?
It absolutely is a huge breakthrough. We're facing a crisis with antimicrobial resistance, and our pipeline for new antibiotics has been drying up.
So, what did the AI do?
Researchers used an AI platform to just crunch through enormous amounts of data analyzing microbial genomes. It identified over 863,000 potential antibiotic candidates.
Wow.
And out of that, it pinpointed a completely new class of peptide antibiotics. And early tests show they're effective against some really nasty multi-drug resistant bacteria.
That's incredible. How much faster is this than traditional methods?
Orders of magnitude.
Yeah.
We're talking about compressing research that could take years, maybe even decades, down to potentially hours or days of computational analysis. It dramatically accelerates discovery.
But getting it approved for human use is still a long road.
Oh, absolutely. The regulatory path for any new drug is complex, and for AI-designed drugs, there are still specific hurdles and questions to navigate. But the potential is immense.
Definitely hopeful news. Okay, let's talk about the foundations. In Europe, Mistral AI is launching Project Charlemagne. What's the goal here? Is this Europe's big play for AI sovereignty?
It seems to be positioned that way, yes. Project Charlemagne aims to build a pan-European consortium, bringing together research labs, universities, companies to create a top-tier open-source foundational AI model.
Open source, interesting. To compete with the U.S. giants.
That's the idea, to offer a competitive alternative to models from OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, etc., but rooted in European values and fostering transparency through its open-source nature. It's framed as a kind of third way for digital sovereignty.
A third way. But can it realistically compete? Doesn't that take colossal resources?
That's the multi-billion-euro question, isn't it? It absolutely requires massive sustained investment and collaboration across Europe to reach true global relevance and challenge the dominance of the US-based hyperscalers.
A major undertaking. Speaking of dominance, NVIDIA just keeps rolling. They've unveiled Rubin, their next-gen GPU platform. What does this mean for the hardware arms race powering all this AI?
Yeah, NVIDIA isn't slowing down. Rubin is set to succeed their current Blackwell platform in 2026. And the performance jump they're promising is, well, staggering.
How staggering.
They're talking about 2.5 times more AI compute power compared to Blackwell. That's targeting around 50 petaflops of FP4 performance. Plus, it'll incorporate the next generation of high-bandwidth memory, HBM4.
50 petaflops. That's hard to even grasp.
It is. And this relentless annual upgrade cycle, Hopper, Blackwell, now Rubin announced, is clearly designed to keep NVIDIA way out in front.
Yeah.
It forces everyone else to play catch-up.
Is it just about raw power, though?
Not entirely. They're also emphasizing efficiency gains. The goal is to reduce the total cost of ownership, the TCO, for these massive AI data centers, making training these huge models slightly more accessible, even still incredibly power-hungry.
Right, always a factor.
Okay, so we have the tech accelerating, regulators chasing, but what about safety coordination? Tech giants met at the Seoul AI Summit and signed some frontier AI safety commitments. Is this real progress or just, regulatory theater?
That's the million-dollar question everyone's asking. 16 major AI companies signed on. They committed to things like publishing safety frameworks for their most advanced models, the frontier models.
And what else?
Crucially, they pledged not to develop or deploy models if the risks are deemed intolerable, especially in areas like cybersecurity or CBRN, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear threats.
Sounds good on paper, but
But there's significant skepticism. Critics, including prominent researchers like Jan LeCun, point out that it's entirely voluntary. There's no independent oversight body, no real enforcement mechanisms.
so more of a promise than a guarantee.
You could say that it keeps the debate alive. Is industry self-governance enough, or do we need binding international regulations for these potentially very powerful systems? The jury is definitely still out. Okay, last item, but foundational in a very literal sense. Canada is relaunching a strategic rare earths mine, Nechalacho. Why is digging stuff out of the ground suddenly top AI news?
Because AI doesn't just run on code, it runs on silicon. And that silicon relies on very specific physical materials. This project, run by Vital Metals, is focused on securing a North American supply chain for critical rare earth elements.
Like what specifically?
Neodymium, praseodymium. These are essential not just for high-performance AI chips, but also for things like electric vehicle motors and advanced defense technology.
And currently, the supply chain is concentrated elsewhere.
Heavily concentrated, primarily in China. So this move by Canada is about reducing that dependency, mitigating geopolitical supply chain risks, and trying to foster more local innovation based on secure access to these vital resources. It's a stark reminder that the future of AI rests on very tangible physical foundations.
A crucial point. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. So what does this whirlwind of news actually mean for you listening? We've seen incredible tech leaps, major regulatory moves, economic shifts, new threats.
Yeah, if you zoom out, a few key trends really stand out from these stories. First, that ongoing, almost violent collision between exponential tech acceleration and the much slower pace of governance. The tension is everywhere.
Right.
Second, the battle of economic models is heating up. You've got the established platforms, the growing ecosystems, and now these sovereign open source pushes like Projet Charlemagne trying to cart out space.
And AI moving into the real world.
Undeniably, it's materializing. From robots in factories to discovering drugs to relying on minerals dug from the earth, the AI economy is becoming physical. And finally, the emergence of truly autonomous threats, like that AI cyber attack, that's a paradigm shift.
It really underlines the need to stay engaged, stay curious. Your role as an informed participant in how this all unfolds is more important than ever. The vigilance continues.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. As these AI systems become more autonomous, more capable of acting independently in both the digital and physical worlds, are we truly going to master this intelligence we're creating? Or are we stepping into uncharted territory where perhaps the machines start setting the pace?
A sobering question indeed. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Join us tomorrow on RG News for the day's AI news. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell.